The Irish indie book that I'm going to talk about today is Malevolence. This is it here actually. It's definitely a curiosity, as in I really like it. It's like smaller than your kind of standard size American comic book. I can't actually remember when I bought this. I can't even remember who I bought it off. I'm imagining I got it off one of the creators, but it was in my pile, and it's a book that I always kind of go and look at. It definitely stands out amongst the pile for me, and I'm going to talk about why in this video. Just looking at the cover here, actually, it's an interesting cover. Like, it's just a close-up of a person's mouth with these wings sticking out of the mouth, and obviously looks like it's they're eating something inside. This is actually the face of one of the characters in the story. What I kind of like about this character is obviously the character has a cleft palate, and the book is set in the 20s, 30s and 40s, I believe. Like, so obviously back in those days there was no kind of way that someone could be treated who was born with a cleft palate, so it affects the character's speech, which is kind of a nice way of I suppose adding character to this person who could have just been a regular the character is a policeman. So it's a nice way of just adding some kind of dimension to that character. The cover is simple enough. It's a nice image. Colors are great, actually. Really like the colors. I don't know if you can see here, but there's kind of like doesn't look as prominent in the photograph that I took, but there's almost like kind of a greenish tint. I'm not sure if it's a glow or if it's like green blood or something like that, but it makes sense in the story. I'm not really going to spoil why exactly, but it's cool. I like the cover. It's definitely eye-catching. The creative team on this book is, the writer is Hugo Boylan, artist is John Quigley, colorist is Dervla Kelly, and the letterer is Kerry Smith. So the story is, I think it's 20 pages long, full color. What they have actually at the start, this is a really nice feature of the story. It says the following is a story told across 3 decades. Actually, earlier in the video it said it was 20s, 30s and 40s. It's actually not. It's 1910s, 1920s and 1930s. But the book is colored in a way that there's kind of a tint to each era, so you can kind of, it's nice. It's like you can jump backwards and forwards in time, showing the past or the present or the future or whatever it is, like, and you don't actually have to explain that, so you can nearly jump around in one page if you want. It's a really nice idea. I really kind of dig that, and also it gives the colorist a bit more kind of to play with and a bit of a challenge, I think, which was cool. This first image that I took here, it's really, I suppose most of these books I talk about probably is the art, because, you know, traditionally I was an artist myself, or I am an artist myself, like, so it's just the thing I gravitate towards, and I definitely enjoy comics that really push the art and don't, you know, the art isn't overpowered by dialogue. This book definitely kind of gets a really good balance, I think, and I just wanted to kind of start off with this close-up of the first page, just to give you an idea of the style. It's I love the artwork in this. What I really like about it is it's very kind of gestural and rough and expressive. It kind of reminds me of like life drawing class or something like that. Like there's just like I think there's a lot for the colorist to do in these pages as well, but I just love the kind of there's a lot of kind of, I suppose like energy in the way the lines are, like, you know, these hands is kind of it's almost like wobbly, but it looks great. Even just the clothing and stuff on this character here, and the expression in the face, like it's really nice. And yeah, the colors are great here. This is the 1930s era here. There's kind of like a purple tinge off everything. Yeah, it's great. It really, I suppose what I love about it is like there's a lot of artwork these days, like, you know, the high kind of rendered polished artwork, and sometimes I love something like this where you can really tell that it was drawn by a human. And yeah, I think there's definitely artists out there that are that good that it almost looks like a machine done most of the art for them, like but this is just very kind of raw, and I really like that. This is the character I was talking about earlier in the story. It's basically a cop who is, I suppose, determined to catch a character. As I said, I don't really want to give too much away, but I love this shot here. It's there's just great expression and emotion in this character's face, and just the way it's great camera angle. You know, it's obviously from the viewpoint of somebody looking up, and this cop has the gun at the person's face. Like, this is actually part of the first page as well, and it's just a great way. It kind of just drops you into the story. That's something I always love in comics. Nothing's really explained. It's definitely a story. I did have to read it a few times to kind of get the idea of what was happening, and yeah, I think I liked that actually. Sometimes it's nice to have to put a bit of work in, and it was more so, it wasn't work as in reading a lot of stuff. It was just kind of connecting the dots, going from the different time periods and trying to get an idea of who was who and what was happening and stuff like that. Like yeah, really good. On this page here, it's not actually my favorite one. I'll get to that in a second. This page, it stood out. What I really liked about it, it's a scene where the policeman goes out and captures this character. This character is an Irish character. That was one thing I loved about the book. A lot of Irish indie books, there's no real Irish connection to them besides the creators. Like, so there could be a story set on another planet, or a story set in America, but I love books that kind of focus on some kind of Irish element, or just bring a bit of local knowledge and historical knowledge, things like that. And in this story, to me it looks like the earlier part of the story is set in Ireland, and then the other two are set in America. And yeah, you just get that from the images in the story and how the people talk and what they say, like, and that's all really good stuff, like, because it's back to that whole show rather than tell. But this scene here is where the Irish character is after getting captured by the cop, and what I like is there's a lot of these small panels, and it really gives that sense of speed. Like you know, the cop, obviously he's knocked down this character, and he's assaulting him basically, like beating him with the hilt of the gun. But because there's so many small panels in quick succession, like, it really feels like things are moving very fast and kind of frantic. So I thought that was a really nice touch, just very well done. And I do love the artwork. Like, there's a lot of really nice stuff here. Like, this hand holding the gun looks great, and just even like the characters, the looks on the expressions on their faces, probably these hits to the character's face maybe could have worked with a bit more kind of splatter or something like that. I'm not sure, like, it might have helped, but it's really good. Colors are great as well. Actually, the colors are excellent in this. It's very simplistic colors, but the choices are perfect. I think really good. My favorite page in the story was this one. It's just a beautiful page. I love every panel. I think it's so well drawn. I love the way the action is central all the way down. You have these wide panels, and it's everything centered, it looks great, and then you've got this larger panel at the bottom kind of just to pull out and show a bit of what's happening. And I've seen another video where somebody was commentating on this kind of technique of wide panels on a down through a page and centering everything. They mentioned Declan Shalvey does this a lot. I'd imagine other artists do it as well. But yeah, it's just a really gorgeous page, and I just love the way the guy is lying there and he gets cuffed and then he gets dragged back to the car, and then even yeah, it's just beautiful, really, really gorgeous. Like I just love that shot there as well. I love the stance of this character. This is the cop here, and his suit, all the kind of wrinkles and stuff look great, just pulling the guy in towards the gun, or towards the car, and you've got the lights on, and it's just yeah, it's very kind of powerful, great page. Even just the knife out of this guy's hand here and stuff, actually really nice. John draws some really nice hands, I have to say, like just really kind of expressive hands. Like another nice touch in this story was like, I suppose I haven't hinted at anything in this story, but there is I suppose a supernatural or kind of mythological slant to this story. And this, at the back there's like a poem, and it's kind of cool. I don't think I've ever seen a poem in a comic book. I'm sure there are many, like, but it just kind of gives you a look into the more magical side of the story, and it works really well. It's a cool poem. Yeah, like I said earlier, this book, it definitely has in all my kind of Irish indie stories, it definitely has a pride of place. And I think if you were looking for a story, if you were looking for a book that kind of there's mystery in this, there's horror, there's a lot of mood, you know, like, and it's, I think all the creators have added to the mood here. Like it's written in that way, the colors just create a mood, and then the artwork as well. It's just, it all kind of comes together really nicely. And yeah, it is a book I go back to and just have a look at now and again, mainly for the artwork. Definitely would recommend it. I don't even know how much it is. Like, it's quite a small book, like I said. It's not your standard size, but yeah, it's a little treasure. So definitely would recommend it. If you like my commentary on Malevolence, then please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, or share it with your friends. Malevolence.